Hello, good morning. It's Stitching in the Cottage. And hi, I'm Jean with Kept in Stitches. Welcome this morning, everyone. We've got quite a few in the chat already. So before we get started, I'm going to go over there and welcome in as many of you as I can. Let me scroll back up to the beginning here. We have Vicky here. Good morning to you, Vicky. And of course, Katie Crafts. Christine, welcome to you. Dear daughter Danielle is here. Welcome, welcome. Guess who, Nancy? Hello, Nancy is here. Welcome to you as well. Let me see. They're chatting with each other there for a while. Carol is here. Good morning to you, Carol. Awesome, awesome. Seems like it wasn't that long ago we were talking, Carol. And we also have Rita from Rita's Roost here this morning. Welcome to you, Rita. It's great to see you this morning. Let me see, it keeps moving on me as I'm trying to guide this down there. And Glenda is here. Welcome to you and good morning, Glenda, as well as June. Welcome, welcome. Great to see all of you this morning. And our other June is here also, June Bug. Welcome to you. And there is Samantha joining us. Whoa, everything just highlighted. We don't need that. Oh, oh, mercy. And let me see, I just lost my place. Let me get back down here. And Joyce is here. Good morning to you, Joyce. Welcome, welcome. And I think I have caught up. So let me get back over here where I can see what's going on. And all those over there that got highlighted, I hope it doesn't mess anything up. But every once in a while, the finger just clicks something we're not expecting to click. But Teresa has also popped in. Welcome to you this morning. Also, Teresa, great to see you. So good morning, everyone. It is so far a beautiful morning. I know it's going to be hot and humid, but that's okay. Can stay cool in the stitching cottage. But this morning, if you saw the title to this episode of Stitching in the Cottage, we are going to be doing a hit that reset button because, as you all know, sometimes in life's journey, everything does not go as we plan, and we have to be willing to allow ourselves to sometimes hit that reset button. So don't feel bad when you have to do that. It does happen, and that is what I am doing this morning because as we travel down that road, that highway, the back roads, wherever it may be that our life's journey takes us on. Sometimes there's a bump in the road. Sometimes you come to a detour. Sometimes there may be a fork in the road. Well, maybe I've come to a fork in the road and both options have boulders blocking them. So you have to figure out what to do. And that's time to hit the reset button. So that is what I am doing this morning. I will not be working on brain fog as planned behind me because situations that arose just did not allow me to be able to totally prepare properly for that this morning. I could have worked on it, but it would have been helter skelter and not well for myself or you, my subscribers and viewers. So I have decided to hit the reset button and go on a different path, and one that I know brings me joy, which is what I need a little of this morning. So that is what we are going to be doing instead. And Kelly is here with Kelly's Quilts and Cruises. Welcome to you as well. And make sure that I haven't missed anything. Yes, don't you love that mug? I mean, that's, that is my colors. You can see the front even has it on there, but that reminds me of my dream of someday having a vintage camper and using it as the stitching cottage going down the road, meeting all those forks in the roads and those bumps that we talk about. But hey, we can figure out a way to get around them. So All right. Yes, Kelly says it's nice to see familiar names in the chat. Yeah, it's always nice to see all the familiar names, but it's always nice to see all of those that are you that are new and haven't been here, may not have found me or whatever yet, but somehow stumble across my channel. So it's always great to see new people popping on as well. But love all those loyal subscribers and viewers out there and members of my channel and the stitching friends as well. But so this morning, what I have decided to do on hitting the reset button is I'm going back to one of those whips, old projects that I have been wanting to finish, but not have gotten the chance to finish yet. And you know, I love my slow stitching projects. I love the needle books and I love hand stitching. So that is what I'm going to be doing this morning because I don't have to think as much about it. Don't have to do as much planning, don't have to do as much prep. And that is what I need today. So that is what I'm working on. And I know that some of you also enjoy seeing this process. So that's what I am doing. And I am going to go ahead and add in the other camera as well so you can see what I am working on. Yeah, there it moved down. I was going to say the closed captions were kind of covering up the view down there, but now I can see it. And Junebug says, hug, Jean, resetting is good as long as you keep going forward. Yes, yes, always going forward. Maybe going forward slower, maybe taking a different route than what we expected, but always going forward. And Danielle says, reset is always so refreshing. Yes, it can be refreshing. And Danielle also says that those needle books are so adorable. Yes, I love them. And Nancy is telling you to show your love and give the thumbs up. Thank you, Nancy, for reminding everyone of that. And there is Joe from Vintage Style by Joe. She says, reset button very much needed sometimes. Yes, sometimes it's just not an option either. You have to hit that reset button. So Jean, a reset is sometimes helpful. Depends on life. Like you said, I have been juggling recently as the priority for projects changes. Yes, my priority for projects usually isn't the problem. It's the obstacles in life at home right now that have to be figured out how to get around and make a few changes. So that is what is a bit of what's going on. And Glenda says that she loves needle books and slow stitching. Well, that is awesome, Glenda. Okay, so I have had this needle book, which I guess I can leave it down here and go the right direction a little bit here. I can't see because the closed captions is in my way. And I'm trying to get the right direction. There we go. But anyhow, you see that a little bit. We'll leave it down here where you can see it better. We don't have to be that close and up personal. You can see that as much. Guess who Nancy says that her reset button is stuck. That can be a problem because that means you're in standstill mode. We're not moving. Is that it? But anyway, I have some of the pages already prepared in here. They need the stitching. And as you know, there's always a double page so that your stitching doesn't show on the other part. So you have to plan your stitching as you go. And there are some areas in here that as I turn them, see, this is the inside part that you will not see once it's stitched. That will be together, but there are still blank areas in here that I need to add some things to and plan for the stitching. So that is what I am going to do first this morning and then go back to stitching on some of this. But yeah, want to be able to start using this one. So when I got to this page, I thought, oh, it would look nice to have some type of flowers or scene or something coming up on that page, as well as this one that has the larger blank area. So I went to my stash to try and find first of all, some smaller scraps that had some floral fabrics or something, or some scenery that I could use on it. And I totally forgot that I had these fat quarters that I had gotten in a um, kind of like a mystery sampler box. I actually got this from Soft Squares that I visit often. So, but this is one of the ones that was in there, has all these beautiful florals on it. And I decided that this one right here would go nicely on this bottom part right here. I have to trim that down. I made it a little bit bigger because the parts I have to cut off, if I plan that, I'll be able to use that someplace else instead of wasting that part that I'm cutting off. And Joe says, love making needle books. They make great gifts. Yes, they do. They do. I have a tendency to collect them, but I like to have them on hand also, like you said, to give as gifts once in a while. And Christine with Katie's Crafts says, I need to iron, but old cat is sleeping on the ironing board. She looks too cute and comfy to disturb her. Well, I don't know where he moved to, but I have a little photo bomber that's behind me this morning. So if you see something furry moving behind me or a face pop up on either side of the chair, don't be surprised. And Danielle says that she needs to make herself some. So what I'm going to do, what I have done is I have leftover scraps of the SF101, which is the fusible stabilizer that I use when I'm doing embroidery work. And I cut that and went ahead and pressed that on the back of this first so that it has that on there to help, and it helps those edges until I get them stitched down in the book as well. So I know that this part, when I hold it down here, that this little part off here is not going to fit on there. And I left the selvage on here because the bottom section of this book, these pages have to be stitched together. So there will be some stitching down here. And I wanted to leave room for that. So by leaving that selvage on there, I can still have that edge where I want it and have some fabric that's not going to go over there and mess up my stitching for when I have that. So now I'm looking and it's going to be close. So I'm not going to use that portion of this either. So it'll just be this section that I'm going to trim out and use on this area of the stitching book. And I am going to just roughly, as if you were going to do an applique or machine embroidery or similar to embroidery purse, I'm going to cut around this so I can add it onto that page temporarily until I can stitch it down. So having everything kind of semi-planned and laid out in your needle book so you can just pick it up and start stitching on the portions that you're adding is nice to have done. Makes it really portable then because you don't have to have all the other stuff along with you. And we will save that, and we're going to put that in this little container here that has some embellishments. And now I'm going to kind of look and see, because I'm going to cut part of that off, and that will be able to go right there in my stitching book. And just look how that little pop already makes it. Ooh, that's pretty. And it doesn't even have any of the embroidery embellishments on that yet. I better catch up with the chat because I see it's moving again. And Nancy said, I'm about ready to jump up and down on it, but I'm afraid it will look like a fit. Okay. And Letitia is here this morning. Also, welcome to you. Good morning. Welcome. And Glenda says, That is such a beautiful ironing board cover. Thank you. Yes, I made that to cover the TV tray, and I also painted, it's a wooden one, so I also painted the legs of it so that it matches the cottage out here. It's one of the smaller ones that I use just as a temporary one when I need something over here because I'm talking to you and I don't want to get up and walk all the way over to where my permanent pressing station is. But then I have a larger one that I also have a cover made for and use over here. But thank you. Um, and Samantha says, y'all, I'm sorry. I don't know what a needle book is. A needle book is a little book that you put together with pages that you kind of decorate, and you keep your needles that you use for usually for some type of hand stitching, not normally for machine quilting or anything like that, but for your hand stitching, depending on what it is. I make needle books up according to the different types of stitching because they take different needles. So I will have one made up for applique and have everything that I need needle wise, and like pins, uh, we'll have pockets on that to store stuff in that is used maybe like a needle threader, toothpicks if you're doing applique because you use those for the needle turn applique. Just having things and using vintage lace and items that you find. They're really pretty. And then you have this neat little book that has your needles and your minimum supplies in it. I will have a little pair of scissors, usually always tucked in one as well. But everything I need to pick up, put in with my project, and you have it all there, what you need to do your stitching project. So that is what a needle book is. And there's all different kinds, all different sizes. It can be just one little thing that you just have, a few needles in and that's it. But they're really fun to make and give as gifts and collect. And Melissa is here. Welcome to you. And Teresa, I don't know, I don't remember if I welcomed you and saw you pop in, but welcome to you as well. Uh, and Kelly says she missed a few people coming in. She had to refresh. And there is Elaine. Welcome, Elaine from Three Patches of Time. Happy Friday, Jean and everyone. Thank you. And happy Friday to you as well. And let me see where I am. Let me go. Oh, everyone is talking to each other. And Samantha says, okay, gotcha. Thanks, Mrs. Jean. So cute. Yes, they are cute. They are fun. And they are meditative to work on. Great therapy. So, but anyway, now to get back where I was adding that on, what I am going to do is I am just going to slip that back where I had that. And I am going to take, and of course I didn't move those up here. I was going to take a little pin, but we'll take what pin we have available. And I'm just going to pin that on there for right now. So that is in place. Not sure what I'm going to do over there yet. So we're just going to leave that. But then on this bigger section right here, I think that's the one that I had in mind. Yes. We have these other fat quarters. Don't want to lose the top to my scissors here. That have these cute scenery scenes on them with the hills, the houses, cars, even going down the roads, trees, have a couple different colorways on that. See if you could see some of that closer up there. But yeah, really cute. So I'm going to see what section on this. There's even a little dog on there. Doesn't look like either one of mine though, so we might not use that dog. But I'm going to take and I'm going to open this up. I think I'm thinking I like the pink and green better than the green and blue, but yeah, I think I'm going to go with this one. And I'm going to find a section of that I think I may like, and that fits on there. The car is too far away to use that one there, so we won't use that way, but just kind of decide what part I want to put on there. Kelly says she has one dog keeping her company on the bed right now. Henry is very cuddly. Ferris does cuddles only when he really feels like it. Awesome. And I see that Kathy with Kathy's Quilts and Crafts has also popped in. Welcome to you as well. If I've missed anybody, I'm sorry. Don't, it's not intentional. Just say hello again and I'll be able to say hi. But yeah, gorgeous fabrics. They're pretty. A lot of uses for that. And hello, Tracy. Good morning to you. It is great to see you. And she says, "Oh, cute. I have some of that fabric." All right. I haven't seen it. It is a Riley Blake fabric called Tulip Cottage. So yeah, it's cute, but I'm trying to get the little house in there, of course, and trying to figure out where I'm going to cut to make that fit. I'm going to cut it. Let me see. Okay. So for you can't open the scissors with the lid on it, with the cover on it. Lid, like a scissors has a lid. But I'm going to cut over farther than what I need. See. And we're gonna, just in case I want this to have that on there, we're gonna trim around there. Sorry, I could move this up a little farther while I'm cutting that. But I need to make sure that it is going to fit on the scraps of the SF-101 that I also have, but I can splice that together if need be. And I don't want to lose the little dog over there. So there, we just roughly cut that out. And now I'm going to take it to the ironing board. I've got my scrap of SF-101 here. And I know it's going to take more than one, so I'm going to trim that. It's like use up your scraps. You don't have to cut and have the exact size piece that you need on there. And then I am just going to go like this. Roughly trim some of that off there to make it fit. Tracy says, a needle book. I have been wanting to make one for my embroidery and cross stitch needles and things. Well, get on the bandwagon, Tracy. I just what you need. We can add another project to all of those that you have planned and wanting to do, just like me. And Sandra, good morning to you. It is great to see you also. She says, morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing great. From Canada, it's been really hot here. Yeah, it's been really hot here as well. But yesterday was a nice day, but getting hot again. So, and mom, is fusible fleece something that could be used for the batting or should only use batting? It doesn't have to be batting. It can be flannel or batting, but yes, fusible fleece would not work in a needle book. That would, yeah. There's no need for there to be any fusible on anything on a needle book. So yeah, I would not use fusible. The only fusible I use is the SF-101 that is going on the part that is going to be stitched, not the needle book itself. So now I'm going to slide that up there and make the additional trimming that I need, so I know that I don't get any of it pressed on my ironing board as well. Trim that little corner there, sticking out. Not nice when you get, fusible on your ironing board. Okay, so now we're just going to iron that on there. And if you count to about 10, 15 seconds, that's all it needs. Make sure you got all the edges well. And now we will, page keeps flipping, I guess, because I'm talking about the needle book as we go along. And now we are going to go and we are going to, oh, we can get that road on there. We can get that actual road on there if we put it there. Yeah. We're gonna fit more than what I thought of that on there. That's gonna be kind of nifty. I'm going to grab a ruler and make a little straighter cut on this part that I'm trimming off here. And we will save that over in there because we might use that for something. And I'm going to trim off where that path kind of starts on there on that road. Don't need that part. Now we'll bring it back here again, see how it is fitting. And we're going to have to trim down on the green part of that hill there instead, and a little bit more needs to come off that side. But this I'm just going to take and I'm going to trim right on the curve of the fabric. By having that SF 101 on the back of that, which, as I've always told you, stabilizes your fabric for your when you're doing embroidery work. And also it makes so you don't see the stitches, you know, through on if you were using fabric, you know, that is regular cotton that is see-through. And it also makes those stitches lay on the top of your fabric, your work also, and give it a little bit more definition. So that is the reason for using the SF 101. And this was just a little bit too wide, so I'm going to trim a little bit more off that side. And now we will put it there again. Test it, bring it up just a little because we're going to have stitching there. And we still need just a little bit more of a sliver off here. So you just keep doing that until you get it that it does fit where you want it. And there, that's going to be good. We've got it. And I am going to take and I am going to select all the little pins I forgot to bring over here. And I'm just going to pin that in place on there as well. So now we have that part ready to also use. Let me make sure I haven't missed anyone. You are welcome, Danielle. No worries. And welcome, Debbie from Quilting. Great to see you. And let me make sure I'm not missing any questions. Right. Glenda says that she has made some needle books out of fabric and added the felt or batting where I wanted my needles to go. Yes, I have those sections already planned out. This works for me when I want to make pockets for my scissors. Right. And Tracy says that she has found a cute weekend project to make. Thank you, Jean. You are welcome. Yeah, those parts for where the needles are going to go, and see, this is a hanky, a vintage handkerchief right here, and I folded it in a way and put it on here that we have the pockets right here where the fold is to use, and then it also has a pocket behind there to use. So it actually has 4 little pockets right there. This is actually a piece of lace with a magnet that is permanently glued on with fabric glue behind there, and I will be able to put needles on that part. And this is also a couple little pockets right here in the way that I sewed it on, with the lace also left open, and you can put a little needle threader or whatever that you want inside of there. My scissors, little scissors, will go in that pocket right there. And then as we go through there, here we have the fabric with the leftover batting on it that is for being able to put needles in to use. Have some pins over here. And let me see, what else do we have as we go through here. Here we just have the decorative part on here. Up here is a piece of batting that is going to be used for needles. And then we have a larger pocket down here. And on this side, then we have the other portion. See, I just used the hanky. It's stitched right there in the fold when everything was put together, but it also has the pockets in the way that I folded it and added it on there as well, which if I could hold this correctly, you can see the folds on that better there. But yeah, so wait, yeah, always plan out what it is that you want in your needle book. You know, I mean, not a little bit of planning, you know, kind of adding to it and doing what you want as you go, and what supplies that you grab out of your old laces, your old fabrics. I usually use some beading and types of things like that. These, I have some rubber stamps. So the thimble here and the needle, that was a rubber stamp that I used to stamp that on fabric and then put on there. But that is part of the process as well. Oh, yes, yes, that's in every Glenda's suggestion is what I use in every one of my needle books. It's kind of where I start. I have planned where I want the pins and needles first and add the rest from there. But you can have, like I said, a needle book that's the only thing you put in it and don't have the rest. I kind of combine, you know, slow stitching project and needle book together, a type of stitching journaling as you go, and using it as a needle book and using vintage items and stuff that I have found along the way. Thank you, June. She says, awesome book. Tracy says, adorable. Thank you. Glenda says, oh, cute, Jean. Thank you very much. And let me see. Oh, and Deb S., the Pug Mama Quilter, I missed you. Welcome, welcome to you, and good morning to you as well. Okay, so going on, I think now on some of the pages, like I said, and when you see this open blank here, that's because you have to have two that go together. This will be stitched. It will become one page that flips open. But because I'm doing embellishing and stitching on it, you don't want that stitching to show up over here. So you have to have that extra in there so that closes and it becomes one page, and you don't have the unsightly stitching that you see on the other side. So that's what this is too. That's not being left blank. That's not going to be seen. That's the back side of both of those pages that you will go from this one. We've got our pin coming out of there to this one. It will be stitched all the way around the edges when I'm done with all of the embroidery work. That will be a finishing embroidery stitch as well. And then you won't see any of the stitching that is done with the embroidery and the embellishing and adding things as we go along, which here, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a little charm right here, a heart that says made with love. And then this is a stamp that I stamped on there that says stitched with love. So those are just little things too that you come across along the way, and just add whatever it is that you feel like. So, and Kelly is going to head out and sew for a bit. Just wanted to make sure that I popped in to see Jean, moi, and my friends, all of you in the chat, because I have not been around much. Well, thank you very much, Kelly, for stopping in. And I am still catching up on your replays. I pop in when I get the opportunity live, but usually have to catch you on the replay because we kind of overlap a little bit. But thank you for popping in. And make sure those of you that haven't checked out Kelly's channel that you go over and check her out. I think she goes every other Friday. Yeah, about the time's different, but about a half an hour after I start, I believe, and that's when we overlap just a little bit. But go and check her out. And Glenda says that slow stitching in the needle book is my relaxation time. Yes, it is a great project to take with you anywhere. Yes, and I always have everything in a container. All the stuff that I use will be in a separate container. Sometimes one like this with the handle, looks like the old-fashioned tackle box, but opens up and I am able to put a lot of things in there and just grab and take that along. Piece of lace there that got stuck out. But yeah, have several different things that I use, some that are decorative, some that are not. But yeah, always have it ready to be able to pull and take with me anywhere. But which is, working on the needle book and like you said, the meditative, therapeutic, really good, is part of that hitting that reset button that I needed today, because things just are not falling into place as planned. And so needed a little reset this morning, a little something to take mind off, certain situations and things, and just, yes, have something that my hands enjoy hand stitching, something I don't have to think about as much, and just work on that. And like I said, I have several of these started that are not finished. So it's great to also get back to that and be able to finish a few of those, put them with the projects that I want and start being able to use them, or put them aside with the ones that are planned to possibly give away as gifts somewhere down the line. But yes, the slow stitching and hand stitching of any kind is very relaxing, very, very therapeutic for everyone and anyone. And there is Gladys, the Confident Quilter. Welcome to you as well this morning. And just a reminder, those of you that are on here that are content creators, if you would like to share your channel so that those that may not know about you or haven't checked you out yet, you can put exclamation point selfie in the chat and it should bring up the link to your channel. So go ahead, those of you that would like to do that, you are welcome to do that today and put that in there. And Glenda says, what an excellent idea, Jean. Love the slow stitching tackle box, girl's best friend. Yes, I think I have 3 or 4 of those. And I actually, I picked these up at Walmart. They have them in the sewing area. So usually have them there. But yeah, so they come in very handy and they stack very nicely to have organized and out of the way when you're not using them. And Debbie says, praying for you, Sister Jean. Thank you. Much appreciated. And Tracy says, like a clear container so I can see what's inside. Yes, I love clear containers because I like to be able to just glance and know, okay, there it is. That's the one I'm looking for. Pick it up and take it. So, and there, yeah, Gladys has shared her link for you all. Don't be afraid. The rest of you go ahead and hit that exclamation point selfie so that others can find your channels as well. But I think I basically, I mean, there will be a few things as I'm going that I may see and decide that I want to add, but I can see that, and I don't know if you noticed, but the pins that I have are ones that I collect. So they are the button head ones. We'll get in view there. That captions is in the way for me to see, but yeah, having problems finding the camera up there. But let me see. I know that I had some on another page that, yeah, these have, okay, can't find it again. Where are we? Where are you? I'm going the wrong way, evidently. Okay, we're just going to hold it this way. But they have the little spools of thread on top. And then you notice underneath my fingers there, which you can barely see, but that's 3 spools that are stamped on there that I will be stitching as well. So it kind of follows the theme. But I have to get better at tracking that camera. There we go. We found it that time, but there's the spools right there. So yes, items that I kind of collect and have, I will add to my stitching books too, because some of them I just use to look pretty. Don't always have to make everything that you're going to use. Sometimes you just like to look at it, put it on a coffee table. People that come in to go, oh, what's that? And it piques their interest and can be a great conversation starter. So Kathy has shared her link as well. Vintage fabric is what I would like to use. Yes, I do use, that's where I have 3 or 4 containers that I keep vintage heirloom handkerchiefs. Some are my grandmother's, some are my mother's, and I will use those in my slow stitching and my needle books because it's better to have it in something that you use and get to enjoy than just sitting tucked away, never being able to see. And of course, things that I pick up along the way, I have a lot of antique buttons, antique laces, and that type of thing. And that is what I will use in my stitching books and my slow stitching projects. Very, very fun when you're out and about and, to find those things. They get harder and harder to find all the time. It seems like there are a lot of people that now pick those up and use those in their stitching projects. So a little hard to come by, and of course, a little more expensive to pick up at times too. But hey, you only live once. Buy the fabric, buy the embellishments. I just enabled you and gave you, permission. So go ahead. But I already have my needle, I see, threaded here and have started stitching that thimble on. So while we just chat for a little bit, I am going to go ahead and finish that portion of that. Make sure that I check that. Yeah, making sure that I'm only going through the part here that I'm supposed to be, but I'm just doing a little back stitch on that. And while I'm stitching on this, I will go ahead and I will remove, you don't need to see me up here in the corner. We'll remove that, and then you can see this view a little bit better. And I'm just back stitching right around right now the edge of that thimble. And I'm using a really light silver gray variegated Valdani pearl cotton. And it's probably a size 8. It is. I will use any type of thread floss that I have, but my preference, I am one that just loves Valdani pearl cotton. So that's usually my go-to. Depending on what I'm doing, I will use up anything that I have and whatever may be the correct color or whatever that I want. So, and Jean, my other Jean is here. Good morning to you. I haven't seen you for a while, Jean Moore. It's great to see you as well. Yes, Joe says, yeah, if you see it, she says, yes, buy any vintage fabric you can get. Yes. I said, getting harder and harder and harder to come by. Yeah, if you're going by a yard sale or garage sale, make sure you stop in because most of the time that is where you will find the best prices on any vintage lace or fabrics or that type of thing that someone maybe have and getting rid of. But I need to add a light over, well, I don't have my other light on. That's why it's a little darker. I thought, why is it darker than usual? here because I forgot to turn my other overhead light on. Does make a difference when you start stitching. It makes a little harder to see, but that's okay. And I didn't pull and bring my lap app down with me this morning. Kind of changed plans a little in the middle of what I was doing, and yeah, on the spur of the moment, hit that reset button and away we went. And there is Loretta. Welcome to you this morning. Checking in with thumbs up. Awesome. Great to see you, Loretta. And I really like using the variegated flosses and pearl cottons and threads because it gives more depth, dimension, and interest to your project. Because as around, it was the lighter color on here, and now it's like a shadow and going into the darker gray on this side. I use this thimble stamp a lot in my needle books because, yeah, if you're doing hand stitching, you need that thimble, right? So it's usually a part of every needle book that I have at some place in it. We got that. Oh, I just couldn't see it. It blended in there. I was going to say, how did I end up with that big a stitch? It's just I couldn't see it. There we go. But yeah, I'm just doing a simple back stitch on this. But you have to plan the direction when you're going, so you know that you put that stitch in so you can go backwards to the right of the needle, depending on whether you're right-handed or left-handed, of course. Because if you start in the wrong spot, you won't be able to go back. So plan the direction of your stitching when you do that. Come to the end of the corner there. Just take the needle to the back because I also have, there are the little lines here on there. So I'm going to give that some definition by stitching those as well. And it's a double line. So I'm bringing my needle up in front of where I want to make my stitch so that I can go backwards and make the stitch. And so then I am doing a back stitch the rest of the way. But just see how fun and relaxing it is, because you can do this. You don't even have to, you can have a friend over. You don't even have to be looking at each other. You can be stitching and you can be chatting and you can be visiting and having an awesome time while stitching a little project together. And, you know, you can also be looking for just that certain thing that you want to put on yours. You don't have it. Maybe your friend happens to have it in her little container of stuff that she brought along. So you can swap items and share and just have a great time that way also. And now I'm turning it around so I can come back the other way, still doing the back stitch on the other little line that is there. And these are close together, so I'm making sure that I'm taking smaller stitches so that it is kind of uniform with what I am working on. Sure we haven't missed anything here. Just everyone talking to themselves. And Joe says, very few rules in hand stitching. Just relax and create. Yes, yes. It's like even when it comes to, what the embroidery stitches are, just go with what's comfortable for you. It's it's a suggestion. Who says you can't make up your own new stitch? It's like, yeah, do whatever you feel like. I mean, there, like I say, some of the things that I put on, it's like, okay, I know that's what I want on there. Do I know how I'm going to stitch it and still until I start stitching it? No, it's not pre-planned. It's just designing and stitching and having a great time as you go. And there are more up here. There's 3 lines there. I'm not going to do 3 lines because they're too close together. So I'm going to make it to where it's 2 lines instead of 3 when I stitch this one. Just a tip for when you do have a needle like is down here and it has the thread that is going to be going through the eye of that needle. Make sure that you plan your stitch so that it goes under that, so it appears that the thread is going through the eye of the needle. Otherwise, it'll look like your needle's laying on top of your thread and it's not threaded. Just one little tip there for if you want it to look like the thread is really going through the eye of the needle. Now, most of the things that I've been doing here lately on my channel, and those of you that have been joining in on the crochet along that we had, making the baskets, what was the other? I can't remember what the other is right now. It just left my mind because it's like, okay, we start making them and they end up being a little addictive. Oh, the quandi that we did at my retreat. Everyone found out that yes, can be very addictive and it's, can't make just one. It's like you want to keep making more and more and more. And that is the same you will find if you get into the slow stitching projects and doing needle books. You'll finish one and you will immediately want to start another one. So just beware. There can be a lot of good addiction in the stitching world. And this has already really given, you know, try and guide that up so you can see, but oops, as I always go the wrong direction, how it's already giving that thimble definition there with the stitching added on. And now we have to go up to the top there and do the lines that are at the top of the thimble as well. And there is Laura Lynn with Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. Hello, Laura Lynn. Great to see you. Saw you yesterday. So great to see you again today. Yeah. Working on the reset button and doing something a little differently than what I had planned today. I was supposed to be working on brain fog, but hit the reset button and I'm just bringing out a slow stitching needle book that I hadn't finished yet and am working on that today instead, which, as I was saying, it's always all right to give yourself permission to take care of what your needs, what your situation is at the time. Hit that reset button and do what you need, what changes you need to make accordingly instead. So now, because we're not going to see, which I mean, it's really not that bad looking on the back either, but that part will not be seen. But I am done with that part and that thread. So now I'm just going to go through a couple of those stitches on the back, make sure that I knot that off. And trim the thread, which none of that will be seen because, as I said, this is the back of that will be closed up, stitched as one page. When you flip it over, you will see, whoa, the other side instead, and none of your stitching is going to be showing. Make sure that when you are doing your books that you plan ahead for that, and remember to put that extra piece of batting or felt or whatever you are using in between each page so that you don't start working on it and then go, oh no, I forgot, now I don't have anything to cover the back side of that. Very easy to do that, so always remember to add that in. But I see we have come to almost the end of my planned hour, and so we came to always nicely how that works out, that I usually come to a good place to stop. Just ended with doing that back stitching on there. I have that little heart on there to do, and I will either find a teeny tiny little heart vintage button and add there, or I will do a satin stitch on that heart so that that also shows up on there. But thank you, Laura Lynn. And thank you, Loretta, also both saying very pretty. And Joe says, let me see. Joe says she got a bag of vintage fabrics from an estate sale, mostly small pieces. So awesome for slow stitching projects. Yes, lucky, 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 lucky you, Joe. Yeah, like she said earlier, if you find vintage fabrics, vintage laces, vintage hankies, anything vintage, pick it up when you see it, because getting very, very hard. But this is good. This is going to be a really, really fun one to add the embroidery to, because there is a lot of embellishment that can be done to that to really, really add that to. There are two swans. I don't know if you noticed. Bring that up. Oh, there are two swans that are afloat. Yeah. Swimming, floating, whatever you want to call it, on that pond that is there on the hillside outside of that house. So that is really cute. I didn't notice that when I first cut it out. But yeah, which some of the things that I have that are going to be added and tucked in here, which I I have a bunch of these that I use mainly for decorative purposes, but they are usable. And that is where I'm saying in this little lace pocket here, I have that needle threader, whoops, that tucks in that pocket right there, just as long as we don't hold it upside down. Fits right in there and adds a little decorative element at the same time, and is still useful for threading your needles. So that's one of the items that will be added in there when it is done. But I go through, and I also have, I collect the needle minders, magnetic, so that will be added at some spot that I find that, okay, part of it when I'm done, it's like, oh, needs a little, sorry, turn that around, a little bit embellishment added there, and that's where the needle minder will end up being put. And I also forgot, I have a piece, you know, when you get some fat quarters once in a while, they're tied up with these cute little ribbons and stuff. So I have that I will be able to add someplace on there as well. I have planned for that. And not these scissors, but I have a lot like this and some that are smaller. That's usually what I tuck into each needle book as well. So that will go in there. And I did have, oh, these, however, these are going to be too big for this needle book, so I will print out the ones that I have smaller. I do that myself. It's a free printable that I found. I print those out on the it's not card stock, it's the brown craft paper, a little thicker than your normal cardstock, but print those out. And then I have vintage little things to wrap the threads, the floss, and that in, and tuck those in as well. So those are some of the things that will be added to the needle book once it is completed and finished. But great to get this out again now that I got it out today. When I have the chance and the opportunity and the breaks, this is what I will probably sit down and work on the rest of the day. Hopefully, maybe get that finished even. But, and Tracy says, so many little things. Yes, it's always fun to collect those cute little items to have on hand to add just in the perfect place, which some of the buttons I know that are in here are little leaves and little flowers and things too that will be able to be added on. And what I really love this, now this fabric that is on the front, that I actually coffee and tea had a little combination of, and tea coffee and tea dyed that to make it look older and more vintage. These were really bright, fabrics to begin with, and it aged them so that it looks old on there, like it's a piece that was cut from an old quilt. But I actually pieced that together myself so that it looks like it came from an old one. But all of these you see are antique vintage buttons that are on the front. This one is used to close it. Another vintage one with a poodle. I don't know if you can see that. Try and get it at the right angle. But there is I was going the wrong direction. There is okay, but there's a poodle on there. Take my word for it. A cute button. But yeah, so that is how you use some of those things. Awesome little things for your needle book. Thank you, June. And Joe says so pretty. So there you have it. That is my reset for today. For a while, I will be doing a lot of resetting. Let me bring myself back up here. There we go. So that I can say, complete this and say goodbye to everyone. But yeah, there will be a lot of resetting going on in my stitching life here for a while. And I thank all of you for understanding that and bearing with me through this time. So at some point in time, hopefully things will, I was going to say get back to normal, but what is normal? It's okay. We just go on, we hit that reset button, we decide which fork of the road to take, and we put one foot in front of the other and just keep on going. And so just adapt and adjust and reset. So thank you, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed seeing the work on the needle book, the slow stitching, and that process as well. At least I was still able to show with you a little bit of informative stitching. Maybe I know some of you have seen this before and have been following along, and I always wonder, did she ever finish that? Well, I'm going to finish it. So yes, thank you very much for joining me this morning. I hope that you all have an awesome weekend. I hope you all get to push that reset button when you need and find something that brings you joy and is meditative and therapeutic. And yeah, just have an awesome time with your stitching. Just sit back, relax, don't think about it, don't stress. So take care, everyone. And remember, as always, in the meantime, I can keep you in stitches. Bye-bye, everyone.